your story of meeting what I'm dubbing is as a rookie hooker.
Oh, yeah. Um, okay, yeah, I can do a synopsis, a quick one.
So you were in Vegas playing soccer,
Quick
old man
Vegas,
soccer.
yep. For old man tournament, 35 plus. 4 games in 2 days. There with a bunch of good friends I've known for years. Some I haven't seen in a while because I moved away. It was a great excuse to get together with the boys. Awesome time. Vegas is always like a lot of fun. Just want to make sure we're still there. Um, I had a love hate. Like I kind of hated Vegas the first few times I went,
Okay.
and then I kind of figured out how to deal with it.
Well, you don't gamble.
No, I do. I do now.
The
The
first few times you
first few times I was just always so broke, and I was just
Ah.
like, man, I can't just like justify like throwing money in these machines because I know I'm gonna lose.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, honestly, the first time I had a lot of fun was going with. Because we just like we're like this is how much money we're going with. We're just gonna like go to a really nice dinner. We're gonna go to see a show. We're gonna like do it up, and just pretend like this money doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got to pick that chunk of money that you're okay with just losing,
Yep.
and then just go for it, right?
Yeah.
So, come to really enjoy the whole Vegas experience, but you kind of have to do it your way. Speaking of though, playing two games a day, and then trying to go out at night and drink, and it took a lot out of me. I got back and I literally like fell asleep at like 8 o'clock. Well, hey, 2 days in a row, just was out,
Okay.
done for.
Wiped out from the.
From just how much I did, how much I drank, how much I ran, hurt my body, everything hurt. So I guess it was the first night, which was Saturday. She didn't fly until 11, so she was just done. She was like went straight to the bed and then passed out. And went out with a couple of the people. We went over to Treasure Island, which was across the way from the Venetian, and we had been gambling, doing this, that, and the other. Lost a bunch of money. Spent like an hour and a half on the horses, the little plastic ones.
So cute.
They're fun. It's cheap, and so I come back, and we've been taking some mushrooms. It was fun. Not like tripping or anything, just like stimulated.
Okay.
And say goodbye to Caleb, his buddy Gordon, and whoever else. And I go to the casino floor bar, just like right in the middle of it all. And I sit down and it's like, I don't have one more drink and go to bed. Sitting there, got a couple over here, and then this other weirdo couple comes over on this side, and it's kind of like a big octagon, dectagon type of shape.
Okay. Yeah.
Huge, but it has little corners.
Yeah.
This couple is like gambling with their buddy, and then they slowly start getting into some sort of drunk fight.
How close are you? How many seats?
It's literally like right next to me, these two.
Okay.
And then there's like the slight bend and like a bar here, and then this is where the other couple are. And they start fighting. This couple starts getting real weird, and then I start looking over, and it's this like skinny girl with like this like tight can be dress on, and she got these big old fake tits, and her nipple is just like out. It's like not the like areola, it's like the nipple. It's like right where the thing cuts.
Okay.
And it's like it's one of those things like she has to know it's out. It's like her nipple is hard, like as a rock, like cut diamonds on that thing, man.
Sharp as nails.
Yeah, and so he's next to me, and I'm kind of like trying not to look, but you can't help but to kind of like peek over every now and again. But you're trying to like, I'm on my phone, like they're arguing, and it's like, oh my God. And then every time I look over, he's like doing this like slow, like voyeuristic style like shot, like going,
Yeah.
woo, But I'll look over, and he kind of every time he's like, kind of like looking. I can't tell if he like wants me to look or if he's like self-conscious.
So every time you look, he looks back at you.
Kind of. Even if I'm just like like he kind of is like, because he was sitting like kind of like this, but with like his camera like going like,
Yeah.
and she's just like looking around like that. And so it's just weird. I'm like, what's going on? And I thought just they were doing some voyeuristic stuff, but it
Mean
felt
like the precursor to like a porn. It's like
maybe
they're doing like, oh, I met this girl at the bar, which is obviously set up, and then they go back and shoot the rest of the video in the room.
maybe, or she was a hooker, and he was like kind of trying to see this. I couldn't tell if I was supposed to be like, oh hey,
Yeah.
you know, like it felt like they either really wanted me to notice or like didn't want me to like participate. I couldn't tell. But either way, I wasn't really feeling social, and they eventually got up, and then the couple eventually got up, and then like immediately this young girl, not like old enough to be in there and drink and everything, but she was like, you know, 21, 22 it seemed like.
Wow.
And they got some Lakers highlights I'm watching, and I'm just like, okay. But that couple, before I get ahead of myself, once she got up and like she had like this, I was just like, this was because they were a very odd couple too. They didn't match. You know, some people just like, you guys don't really make sense as a couple.
You mean she was too hot for him? Or like he was maybe like she's dressed like that and he's more like reserved looking, or
a little bit of both, and he's kind of doofy looking.
Okay.
But it was also like I couldn't get the vibe, and maybe it was his hooker and this was his thing, like, and then they're gonna go where he was like a intermediate, not really a pimp, but someone that like
a pimp paralegal, is that
something like that? Yeah. Like not a classical pimp. But then I just start looking around, and like everything's starting to seem like kind of weird, and I start noticing like, oh man, there's a lot of girls, and they're like skimpy and like kind of hot but kind of trashy, and I'm also looking around, and you see some like shady looking dudes, like, and it just didn't match, you know. It wasn't just like, here's two bros, here's like a couple besides this couple who were like fighting.
Yeah.
I just start noticing like the pieces are weird, you know.
Right.
They get up, she puts on this backpack. It looks like, I don't know why the backpack's weird in my head, but it was. So anyways, this girl sits next to me, and she tries to like say something really lame. She's like, oh, you seem really into this game, and like talking about the basketball game. And I was like, yeah, I am, like, because I was just like, I'm not, no, like, we're not doing this. And then she just gave up immediately. Like, I guess just like the way I said, she had no follow-up.
Oh, man.
That's why I was like, also like, you're really young, and like if you were good at this, you'd probably like flirt better, you know.
Looks like you're really into this game. I like balls too.
Yeah, like, yeah, say something slutty, you know. But I also just like looked at her, and it was just like, I don't know, it was like, it's like the first time you dress up.
Yeah.
When you're like young and you're like, I'm putting on a suit, but it was like, it's like
your
her
dad's
first
suit?
time putting on her hooker suit, and just like, I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of things were like barely on or fitting like the way they needed to.
In addition to her like persona was like ill-fitting, is that?
Yeah, like it just looked like somebody else dressed her up, like dressed her, and they were bad at it, and like didn't have all the things that like needed to like fit her.
Yeah.
Just like had a suitcase full of like vaguely slutty things.
Just like her, hooker gear. Like,
Yeah.
This is my hooker wardrobe.
And her like makeup,
Tactical
like, she had
kit.
these big fake eyelashes that looked like they were about to fall off. And yeah, and so I noticed this other guy over here, and he was like playing the card game, but he like kind of looked at me, looked like this like Russian mobster type of guy, because it was just like
Yeah.
looking all like suspect. And
You think that was her pimp?
I think it was, because next thing I know, he's over on the other side. It's like a 4-seater, right?
Okay.
She was sitting right next to me, and then all of a sudden he's over there, and then she moves over and she's like talking to him, and he's like, "Brr."
Yeah.
And I was waiting for her to like, I was like, is he giving her advice? Is she like gonna come back?
Oh,
or like,
man.
because it almost seemed like that. Like he was like, no, go tell him he's handsome. Go say something like blah 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 blah. And she was like, oh, I don't know, like you didn't seem interested.
Oh, see, that's the thing that really made me laugh about the situation was that, I'm imagining this like hooker in training,
Yeah.
who is approaching potential customers
Right.
and failing, has to go back and talk to her like managing hooker.
Essentially get a pep
To
talk.
train you hook, like, okay, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Do like a compliment sandwich, like, okay,
Yeah.
your approach was good. Okay, next time, maybe.
It's like when you're the server trainer.
Exactly, yeah, like an outback.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, next time,
Yeah.
kneel down more.
Yeah.
Use your
How to make
name.
more eye contact, Just bat your eyelashes more.
What is the training regimen for a prostitute? That is what I want to know.
I don't think you want to know. But then I started looking all around,
great.
and it's just like everybody is looking like a hooker. Just like everywhere I look, there's like these girls would show up because then this other hot girl shows up next to me, but she just orders water. Like they don't order anything but water from the bar because like unless you're buying their drink, they're not spending the money.
Gotta stay lucid too. You don't want to be like
Yeah, you don't want to be
sloppy.
too fucked up. But yeah, and it also just kind of hit me like, oh, well, this is Vegas, and like if there was a place where like you could probably pick up a hooker, and like I look like the prime like a prime target, I'm there by myself, just
My
like
name is John.
yeah, I'm John, the John, just looking like, yeah, like this guy looks lonely. He's out here at like 2:30 in the morning, 3, just like having drinks, just waiting. But yeah, every time I looked, there'd be like a girl, and then like some guy like sitting off the slot machine, just kind of like, like it's just like all within like earshot, and it just all was like, oh yeah.